Tell me what will your legacy be? Yeah, yeah. This is the Legacy League. Tell me what will your legacy be? Yeah, yeah.
And welcome to the first postgame show of the summer 2024 season in Connecticut. I have a very special Flint Tropics alumni. Is that fair? Greg Horn standing by, and some new podcasting equipment to test out. So we're gonna see how it all works and break down the Week 1 games of the summer 2024 season, like I talked about. Greg, how you doing? Hey, I see the shirt. Flint's back, baby.
Yeah, I'm excited. My guys are back. We had a great night of action last night. Some really close games, not a lot of blowouts, so it's good to see. I always love when there's some good games, and it gives us stuff to talk about.
Yeah, and so, let's get right into it. And before we start, we do have a sponsor for this season. So the MVP of the regular season, it's going to be the X Golf Stratford MVP. So whenever we talk about it, you'll hear us say it like that, and the winner gets some cool prizes courtesy of X Golf and Stratford. So thanks so much to them for kind of giving you guys some added motivation for this season to play your best. And kind of like we talked about, Greg, before we came on, the Flint Tropics are back, and we're going to start right there. They win 53-46 in their first game in 5 years. The guys talked about it, and Nick Japs led the way. It's all the same guys, which is great, and they're all just 5 years older and a little more washed up, which they would even admit, and I don't mind saying that because we're all right there too.
Yes,
everybody's more washed up, but hey, a win's a win, 1-0, and like I said, Nick Japs led the way. TJ Gianni with 19-5 and 5 made threes, so kind of doing the things he does. Nick Japs down low, Dom Migliaro and Mike Druin in the scoring column as well. So you were kind of watching the games even a little more than me, but what did you see from Flint in this one, and what resembled what we're used to from Flint, and what was different?
Yeah, it was a lot of the same. Good ball movement. They always have some of the best chemistry in the league, and I think that's a strength of theirs. It's the usual suspects. TJ Gianni was hitting threes. It looked like he kind of didn't leave. He was that corner spot on the left corner. I have seen him hit that three for years, and it just kind of continued. Nick Japs is a threat down low. He's just an interior beast, and he's just Flint's Flint. They do the right things consistently. They're not going to make big mistakes. They don't care who's doing the scoring. They move the ball around, and that's what Flint does. And might I add, Matt Sear, he was the defensive player of the year before. He's been on all defensive teams. He wasn't there. My boy Ryan Caggiano, who's a three-point threat, also wasn't there. So they're just kind of working in some guys, figuring it out, and that's what Flint does. We at Flint Nation, we take it game by game. We win a game. That's, it's regular season, nothing we care about. We care about the ones that come playoff time. So I just look for them to kind of get their lungs back, their bodies back. They'll be ready to kind of run with the TMCs and the get monies of the world, in the upcoming weeks. But, it was just good to see them back and kind of figuring it out. And Nick Japs, Gianni, and Druin looked like they didn't really miss a step. Dom Migliaro kind of plays more of he's kind of the general out there, just kind of leading the troops. He's not going to shoot as much, but I expect a lot of them to I expect the scoring to be maybe more spread out in the coming weeks when they all start to kind of figure out legacy again.
And let's kind of get to family first. As you can see, hopefully this is working, but I think it is. The box score up on the screen on the legacyleagues.com. So, a bunch of new players. Rico Santiago stands out from the winter, but really besides that, some people he knows, and he got this team together, and 36% shooting, 23% from three. It's some of the week one stuff that we expect from a newer team. So, Greg, 2 sentences on them. We can ramble, right? I want to get to your interview with Flint in a second, because I know that's always fun. So we'll kind of end this game with that. But family first, it was a close game, 7-point game. So despite everything I just said about not shooting it so well and trying to figure out the low rims, they were in it. It was a tied game at halftime, I believe. They were in it.
Yeah, no, I want to give them credit. They played a great game, and even Flint was telling me after the game, they're not a bad team. They were asking me where they rank in the league, and I was telling them, Family First will be right there in the middle of the pack. They're a good team. They have size, and I think something that's big for a team, especially new in the league, is just take it slow, take it game by game. Get Money lost their first game last year, and then they were in the championship. So just work things out, figure out what's kind of best for your team in this league, run with it, and you guys will be fine.
To be fair, if we use that comparison, Get Money lost to the eventual champs Yaga.
Yeah.
And I mean, what would we expect from Greg Horn besides, pre-crowning of the Flint Tropics in the summer? Speaking of the Flint Tropics, you talked with Tyler Japps after, and I caught bits and pieces of it. But he talked about how they used to play, this way, and they've played together forever, and so. That's kind of the cool part. Touch on it quickly, but the cool part about this league, why we like the Flint Tropics so much, right? All the new teams get their hazing, right, in the beginning, and the Flint Tropics did as well when they were new. Yep. But then they become kind of a staple, right? Get Money's that way, where they've played together now. They've played together before this. They've been in the league. This is their second season, and you can tell. You can tell teams that do that versus teams that kind of keep shaking it up. So, just what on that point about kind of the continuity that Flint brings to the legacy leagues?
Yeah, no, I think Flint's a good example of in this league on how you just have to keep pushing, keep going forward. You want to stick with the same guys. Chemistry's huge. I mean, I think it's a good example is like your teams, Joey. You bring the same kind of guys back and run TMC, and they all work together. It's like they don't miss a step. I think that's a lot of the reason that Flint ended up winning their first championship is when they did eventually win, they played a team that was just a bunch of guys put together. They weren't really a team, and Flint was a team. And that's the brotherhood we love in legacy leagues. There's so many teams that aren't even here anymore that, they're families. And once you're in this league for a few years, you really become part of the legacy league family, and that's what Flint is. Love them or hate them, they're like the cousin you can't get enough of.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And so now, did it work? We got transitions, guys. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Get Money, speaking of them, we talked about them. We'll kind of stick at the 8 o'clock games. They win by 10, so we kind of like to do some of the closer games first. But Get Money takes down Snipe Squad by 10. Snipe Squad, I see there with a first quarter lead, so maybe a little slow start for Get Money. And I'll throw it to kind of, we'll move a little more quickly on these. Yeah. But, Tim Case stood out, 27 points, and Angelo D'Amato for Snipe Squad, two newer players combined for 48 in their debuts. So shout out to both of them. Kyle Davis, Connor in the interview called them all champs and had to correct himself. Well, champ. And the McRae brothers were like, what the heck? Why couldn't you just let it rock? But hey, you got to earn it, damn it. You got to earn that title. But Get Money. So like I talked about, Kyle Davis, Tyron and Taishin. The majority of the scoring, all but 11 points for Get Money. How did he fit? And we can, you guys can watch the games on YouTube. You can go back and watch the games or come to InSports and watch them live. But this was a team that came back, added the finals MVP in Kyle Davis. How did he fit?
So the reason that's a really actually great transition. The reason they went down in the first is they went out with their lineup, Kyle, Tyron, Taishin, and I think it was Terrell. And, they were fitting great. I don't think I've ever seen Tyron McRae and Taishin play worse basketball in my life. They were missing dunks, layups. It was just an off game for them. But it's like you said, how did they fit? They fit well. But what really worked, and you can see in that third quarter, is after halftime, Get Money usually does 4 in, 4 out. And they were doing it, the starters, with Kyle. They took Kyle out of that first 4 starters. They put him with the bench guys just as the kind of main ball handler, and then let the other guys work around him. And that's really when this team started to get going. They kind of figured out, look, we need either Tyron, Taishin, or Kyle out there, at least one of them at all times. And that's really what kind of flipped the switch and made Get Money go into that next gear. And then they didn't look back after that. So I think going forward, Get Money is just going to start to mesh a little better together. I like how they only added 1 player. It's not too much. And just, keep pushing. They know better than us.
Yeah, and we talked about Snipe Squad. So, really led by Tim Case. And he had some highlight plays. You could tell he's going to be the orchestrator. I mean, nothing to laugh at. We talked about Angelo D'Amato with 21. That's huge as well. So I think those two really, as they kind of figure things out and figure out how to get the other players on the floor with them to kind of come along for the ride, will keep them competitive in some of these games. So, Get Money, continues and picks up right where they left off.
Yeah, shout out Tim Case. I want to give Tim Case a shout out. One of my favorite players I've ever seen play. Effort, heart, hustle, athletic. Tim Case, I want to see that attempted be 30 next game.
Just talking over the transitions. It's okay. See, it's a new thing for us, too. Hold on, Greg Horn. Damn it. All right, let's get to Run TMC and Trailblazers, two returning teams in different senses. Both teams, have players that have played in the league before. The Trail Blazers formerly would have been. I think they have 3 or 4 new players, and TMC is a bunch of players who have played in the league for multiple seasons, including kind of bringing Brett Cody back, who is still, he's not one who has seemed to have aged along with the rest of us. That was, it's like you dropped him in from 2018, and Brett Cody's back, and that's what he does, which is great. But we do have to mention, and I'll go to you because I was extremely tired in this game, playing the entire time, but it was a good time. Reggie Stewart with 40 and a huge second half. I don't even know how many came in the second half, but I know he got hot from 3 in the second half and made the majority of his 9 threes after halftime. And I'll share the screen, but doing the math really quick, TMC trailed at the half by 5, and then as you can see there, won by double digits. So big second half for TMC. What'd you see, Greg? And be nice.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be very nice. After week 1, Run TMC was the most impressive team I've seen. Obviously no bias to Flint. Flint's my pick, obviously. Everyone knows that clearly. But TMC right now, I think, looked the best. Reggie, when he's playing like that, they're almost impossible to beat. Eric Singleton played a great game. He keeps getting more and more efficient as he keeps playing in legacy leagues. Shout out Joey. Big threes. Reggie was even saying it. We need this one, Joey. And Joey splashed it away, so shout out to Joey. But I think Brett Cody was the big standout. He's just such a great player. He never does too much out there. He takes the right shots. He plays good defense. He's a great ball handler. And I just love what you're really building at Run TMC. This team, it's very reminiscent of teams in the past that have won Legacy League championships where it's sure you guys have stars, but it's not too star heavy or star dependent. Everyone kind of knows their role. And I mean, look, when Reggie's shooting like that, and as the trademark saying, Reggie runs TMC.
And I want to get to the Trailblazers in a second, but yes, and you can see the roster there for TMC, so I kind of want to, well, you already saw it, people who are watching on YouTube with this, but, players like Terrell Vargas, players like David Armstrong. I was talking to the Trailblazers after our game, and they were like, who else is on your team? Because we only had 4 players, and I was kind of saying, Will Hudson, David Armstrong, Cody DiLeonardo. And so specifically in that scenario, Terrell is great. A former MVP, in the conversation. I think he might have won one as well. But Cody DiLeonardo, David Armstrong, players that can play with other stars and still be effective, right? Play defense, rebound. David Armstrong, you don't even have to give the ball to, and he's going to score 15 and that's what I was saying to them. I've done it the other way, and so have other teams where you just get 7 stars, quote unquote, and it doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is because there's only one basketball, and we hear that a lot, in real sports. It applies to this as well. And so getting those pieces to complement players like Reggie, when he's shooting like that, he's hitting step-back threes. He pulled 2 from the logo and is turning around and talking to Pratt, laughing in the highlight clip. Like, that's legacy leagues, in a nutshell right there. But it's not going to happen like that every game, right? And so really shout out to the Trailblazers. Javon Chapman, 23 points. A lot of attacking the basket for him. Same with Sean Sita. I mean, the two of them were just having their way. Sure, when David Armstrong is back there, it's a little different, right? But, hey, you only play who shows up. They were having their way. Jake Morales was like, I was beat. I didn't have any legs. Like, sure, that would help that team, right? So they're going to, and they said it themselves, they're going to figure out how to play together in this league and be just fine. So I'm excited to see them, in future weeks. I mean, another just team that's building, right?
Yeah,
that is
continuing
continuing to build
growing.
on. Yeah, totally. Good? One more. All right, Biggest Skis win. So they get back in the win column as well. Let me stop sharing my screen. And they take down the Back Outside boys, 49-46. Just messing with the box scores here. Some new faces for both teams, and the Back Outside boys are a brand new team, but they do bring in Alex Willis from Get Money. So there you go. He kind of went to play with some other people he knows. But the Biggest Skis are 1-0, and they're in that conversation as well, one of those returning teams. So we'll put the box score up here, and close one. I know we might have saved the best for last as far as the closest result from week 1, but It is the biggest skis, despite it says they're a 2-point second quarter, so that doesn't usually bode well for a team to really struggle in a quarter. They still get the win. How'd they do it?
This game was a funny one. The back outside boys only had 4 guys. One of their players who, from talking to people, one of their better players, James Harrington, he was coaching half the game. I guess he had a broken jaw or something. So, quickly on the back outside boys, guys, if you're listening, keep doing what you're doing. You played a great game. Get full strength and just go from there. Don't look too much into this. For the biggest skis, it's another thing of I like the biggest skis. They're a good team. They're physical. Adding Miles Raymond was a really good idea. The new guys they added, like Jaden and Jordan, they played great. Devin Serrano was kind of figuring it. A lot of these guys that come back to Legacy, it takes a week or two because they've probably been balling all offseason on higher rims. So not everyone's Reggie and can just come in and drop 40. So I really liked what I saw from the biggest skis, but I need to see them shoot better from 3 if they're going to try to contend against teams like TMC, Get Money, even Flint. You're just going to have to. You're going to have to hit Trailblazers.
Right?
They hit threes. You're going to have to get something from 3, especially in Legacy. I'm not saying I need 20 threes a game, but if you can give me around 7 to 10, that would help you guys and bode so much better because there's going to be times you go down 10 to 15. And we've seen that in the NBA, especially like when you play the Warriors. You go down 10, next thing you know, Steph and Clay hit 2 threes, and it's a 3-point lead. So biggest skis, keep doing your thing, but you're going to have to, shoot better from deep going forward. But a win's a win. They were clutch at the end, some big free throws from them, ice in their veins. So shout out biggest skis on taking the win.
Yeah, and just on the back outside boys, Jaden Andahar, 20 points, as you can see there on the screen. Alex Willis with 16, kind of picking up where he left off, having played in this league before. And back outside boys are going to look very different, I'm sure, come playoff time once some of their other guys get some experience in this league. So I like it. And, we talked about making threes. The biggest skis were 2 of 15, and, making that 6 of 15 is huge.
Yep.
Right? And so, or even if you have to take a little more to get to that number. I was trying to think of what, the magic number is. We talked about Reggie made 9 by himself, so that's cheating, right? But, team-wise, double-digit threes helps, even in a league with a lower rim, and that's 30 points, right? That's math, but that helps you to score, right, when you're hitting those shots.
100%.
Cool. So, all right, we touched on all the teams. Let's kind of wrap, and I know it's going to be a shorter one this week with less of us here because you don't want to hear from us. You want to hear from our new analyst who will be on starting next week. But what team, Greg, not named the Flint Tropics, stood out to you? And I know we talked about a lot of the teams that already won, so even if it's a player, go whatever direction you want. But what stood out from opening night?
So Flint, obviously, I'll always give them their flowers. Run TMC, I said they look great. I'm going to go Snipe Squad and my guy Tim Case and Angelo Diamato. They looked phenomenal. Tim Case, Get Money, was talking to me about it. Tim Case, Kyle Davis looked at me and goes, Tim Case can ball. That kid's nice. Tim Case is someone, if you're playing Snipe Squad, do not take him lightly. He can handle the ball, and he attacks the rim like a veteran in this league. You know who Tim Case reminds me of a little bit? Joe Bocciello. I don't know if you guys remember him from the Throne season. He would attack the rim, and it's very hard to get in front of him, and Tim Case did that. I'm telling you, Tim Case and Angelo, I don't need to see the rest of your team take more than 5 shots. I need you guys taking 60 shots a game. You can work the ball around all you want, but Snipe Squad, you got something nice working. Your role players, they'll fill in. They'll find kind of their spots. They have a really long bench. I'm looking at that roster. They got 3 guys who didn't even show up. So for me, it was Snipe Squad. They played Get Money. Get Money is a great team. They're physical. And in defense of Get Money, they did play a really rough game, and I know they'll be way better than that. But Tim Case and Angelo and Snipe Squad are going to be the team that surprised me most, and I'm really looking forward to see how they can do next week. I'm looking right here. They play the Trailblazers, so that's a great chance for them to get their first win. It's 9 o'clock on InSports Court 1, so the lights will be bright, and I expect Snipe Squad to kind of come out hot.
Yeah, and looking at next week's schedule really quick, Flint Tropics and the biggest skis, Run TMC and Back Outside Boys, so that could be interesting depending on how many people, show up. Family First and Get Money, so, Get Money has some newer teams and isn't, it's not necessarily easy. And the Trailblazers and there goes my dog. The Trailblazers and Snipe Squad, like you talked about at 9 o'clock. Greg, anything else? I like it. Good week.
No. I mean, a great first week, great season. Shout out my boys, Flint Tropics, coming back. You know what we do over here at Flint, and I'm just excited to see how the league's going to pan out. We got the competition's close. I don't really see there's definitely favorites, but I don't see like that much of a favorite. I know obviously as the year goes on, teams will separate, but I'm excited to see the power rankings, excited to see the top plays, and get to week 2.
Greg's the man. He just knows how to transition here. Yeah, power rankings coming up, top plays coming up. This is the podcast, and more social media content as well. So, Greg, nice shirt, as always.